Welcome to Breaking Down Security Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Brake. Welcome, everybody. This is the new year, our 2017 series. Mr. Betcher, of course, is here with us. Say hello, Mr. Betcher.
Hello.
Yes. So for longtime listeners of the podcast, I'm going to bring out the final little bit here. We mentioned a secret at the end of the last show. So if you are a longtime listener, you will no doubt remember this person from previous podcasts. Please introduce yourself to the show.
Hello, everybody. It's Amanda Berlin.
Yay! Yes, we've asked. Well, actually, we begged.
Forced.
No, not forced. We begged. We were like,
twisted my arm.
Please come sit with us. We want to be the cool kids at the cool kid table. And she was like, all right, fine. So we've asked Miss Amanda to join us on our podcast. She's going to provide valuable insight.
As a legit member, not just
you're
yeah,
you're gonna be the new Yoko. You're gonna be the new
Yoko.
Hey. Not Yoko, and not a guest, extended guest person. We're gonna have you on permanent. So we thought you'd bring some very valuable point of view to the discussion. Some that I'm missing, and Mr. Betcher's missing. So it's great to have you on, and you're still working at the other place that people can find out about on LinkedIn if they want to.
Yep.
Right on. Okay.
Unless it depends on how good the podcast pays. I can switch full time.
You will get 33% of what I make and Mr. Betcher makes. So yeah. Mr. Betcher, how much did you make last year from the podcast?
A ton.
Yeah.
A ton.
Ton of what?
A ton more than the previous year.
That is true. Yeah. We're definitely a not-for-profit here, so
One of the many things I learned while working in healthcare is that just because you're a not-for-profit doesn't mean you don't make a profit.
That's true. I used to work, when my first job out of high school was working as a food service person at a hospital in Springfield, Missouri. It was called St. John's. It's now called Mercy, I think. But yeah, they were a not-for-profit, which meant, I guess, at the end of the year, they had like $80 million. And they were like, oh, crap, what are we going to do with it? Oh, let's just put a new wing on a building. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
We don't make a profit.
Because they're investing.
Yeah.
They're investing back into the community.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So, my profit is the friends I meet, the things I learn.
The time you spend with us.
Oh, such a kiss.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like a cost.
Emotional cost.
Yes.
You guys pay for therapy too, right?
That's right. You get all the therapy you want. So, yeah. So, before we get to the podcast, I did want to mention our friends over there, Hack in the Box in Amsterdam. Early bird pricing, of course, for tickets is done as of 31 December. Tickets are still on sale, I believe. I tried to check the website to find out if they were still on sale, and they do appear to have some classes and things still available. One of the classes I thought was interesting was like the Art of Evasion. So it was like if you're being kidnapped, this guy would show you how to evade that and break out of like lock picks and jumpstart cars. Oddly, that was canceled. Not surprised, actually, but anyway.
I think Deviant Olin has a class that you can take for that kind of stuff. Like he'll take you and like shove you in a trunk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I know he's huge with lock picking, but wow. All right. Yeah. Cause this whole thing was like, here's how to evade capture and how to hotwire.
Hey kids, get in my trunk and,
Wow. So if you still want to go to Hack in the Box in Amsterdam in May, you can go to hackinthebox.com and at checkout, enter Breaking Security, BRAKEING security at checkout. It'll get you 10% discount. And you can, make sure you can still go to that. There's still, there might also be a problem with hotel rooms because it said the hotel that this place was at was full up. So there's also instructions on the website where you can go if you want to actually find a Best Western or something you want to hook up at. So
take my class, Clarice.
Yes. So. All right, so we're actually going to start with a news story. We're going to do this all the time, but there was just one that we thought was like a little on the crazy side, and we can't believe that it actually happened. So, who put that link in the show notes?
I don't know.
The one about
I thought you did.
Me? No, I just saw it was on the list here. It was from the LA Times. Who put the LA Times thing?
I did.
Okay,
I did. Sorry.
So, can you explain it a little bit?
Hang on, let me click on the link.
Oh my God, don't click on the link. Don't click on the link.
Wait, click on this one instead.
Oh.
Okay, it's from the LA Times, why lawmakers are trying to make ransomware a crime in California.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first thought is, how are you going to prosecute these crimes if you can't even find these people?
Yeah.
Right? I think the gist of it is that they're trying to pass a law that says, okay, ransomware is a crime. That way they can at least have justification to go after somebody. The problem is attribution is really hard. Yeah. And to be able to find the people or the right people when I don't know, I haven't seen ransomware in quite a while that didn't take Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. How are you going to track that? And it's pretty difficult to track down who's the owner of a particular Gmail account, mm-hmm. right? If you can get on Tor and create Gmail accounts left and right, and then compromise other people's Gmail accounts. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's really, really hard. Yeah. And, let's focus our efforts on trying to prevent this stuff and education. And maybe I'm wrong. Somebody enlighten me. Have there been any cases where someone created ransomware, infected files, and then law enforcement came after them and put them in jail? They actually found the perps?
Not that I've ever heard of.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I think this would only affect U.S. Americans or United States citizens who was actually promoting malware, and ransomware, which I don't know if the California law would apply to somebody in Romania or in Nigeria or whatever who would be passing out malware.
I think with a law passed, it may be easier to extradite them.
Well, it's like, we here in the United States, we have, if you get pulled over by a cop and they find that you're using your cell phone and, you also don't have your seatbelt thing on, those can actually stack upon one another. I call it a la carte ticketing or whatever. So, okay, you get a CFAA violation and, you were also doing malware and, this affected people in the state of California. So, once you're done being, indicted and charged for CFAA stuff, we can also send you to California when you're done with your jail sentence in New York State, which now it's a felony in California to be using malware, So you got CFAA violations and then you got malware or ransomware violations in the state of California. So as soon as you're done serving 10 years in the pokey in New York State, they'll extradite you to California to stand trial as well.
That sounds reasonable. And I think they have to pass something, because if there's no law passed, it would be much harder to prosecute somebody if they did actually find somebody who created and distributed ransomware.
Yeah.
Have they ever though? I don't know that. So I just recently read a book on ransomware. I did like a tech review on a book on ransomware. And I mean, there weren't any specifics as far as finding a single person maybe that had created ransomware or distributed it or whatever. But there are certain classes of ransomware that are tied to certain hacking groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And none of them are based in the U.S. So I just feel like I've never heard of a court case that has had anything to do with that in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, on the face of it, the article looks like, it sounds like that lawmakers don't really understand how the whole internet thing works and how ransomware works, and that, the internet is worldwide and universal. So it comes off as kind of like they're kind of stupid for even trying to, implement this. But I can see where, they were talking about, so at the bottom of the article it says, at federal level, prosecutors use CFAA to target ransomware, but state prosecutors must pursue cases under laws against extortion, or those target threats to injure a person or property have not been acted upon. So I guess it's harder to prosecute people under extortion unless you can show that actual damage has occurred. So if they pay that, and it makes sense, I guess, extortion, but... so that doesn't quite fit computer crimes is what they're saying. So they've created something to specifically target that type of computer crime. So I guess that kind of makes sense as long as it stays fairly generic and only deals with ransomware and not gets into anything ugly. I don't see any real problem with it.
Yeah, they say it's at least a step in the right direction, and it would go far in letting the perpetrators know that the state is taking it very seriously. So yeah,
so those guys over in Romania are shaking in their boots.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they better think twice.
Their Gucci leather boots is exactly right. So yeah. All right. So anybody see the ransomware article about the ransomware not infecting you if you watch training videos? I thought that was pretty interesting. So the idea is somebody found it, Michael Gillespie, security researcher. If you get infected, it gives you a link to 2 videos that you can watch. One of them, I believe, is actually on Bleeping Computer's website to talk about, educating yourself on malware. And if you don't watch them, then it will delete your stuff. But the idea is if you watch these through whatever interface they give you, they'll give you a decryption key and will actually decrypt your stuff. So we were talking before the show. This is might be an effective way to do security training every year. Have a little.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, a little.
That's what we're gonna put in place. I'm sorry, your all of your past email gets deleted unless you go through user education training.
My goodness. Wow. I got, man. Well, see, my thing is, training that takes 2 hours. Normally I do in about 5 minutes because I just click to the end and answer the questions, retake all the tests if I don't make it until I get it right. But,
well, that might be what this does. You click on the videos and then you fast forward to the end. Hopefully it doesn't have any errors in it where it starts deleting them anyway.
Yeah.
This is pretty harsh. Right? Somebody taking a altruistic view of, they think they're helping mankind by getting some training out there. If you fall for this, then I'm going to train you up and you better train. Otherwise, it's the real deal.
So do you think this is, do you think that's going to be more effective than the law against ransomware?
Well,
yeah. I mean, what if this did start as a joke and then just got out of hand? What if somebody did create this for like a training purpose and then it got leaked and then somebody was like, oh, well, I can also do this and then I'll delete
and
your
make
files.
Money.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not even asking for any money.
Nope.
They're not asking for money. They're just asking you to watch the video,
right.
Which is odd because they're exposing themselves. They have a command and control server that the decryption keys are retrieved from. So, wow.
Yeah.
This is a crime. I take it, threatening people to remove all their files, etc. Even without the law, right?
Well, you're threatening people with education, which, people don't want to learn.
I was going to say, is that against the law?
Yeah. It's like forcing people to watch Sesame Street or something. To learn Spanish or like Dora the Explorer for Spanish. Right. Or we'll delete your files. So, yeah. I mean, it's fairly harmless. I mean, there are worse ones out there. I mean, this one seems fairly decent. At least they do allow you to decrypt your files if you do watch the videos. So, I mean, that does make a lot of sense. So, all right. Well, enough of that. We're gonna get to actually the meat of our podcast this week, which is going to be on. We were going to talk about secure messaging. One of the things that got me over the past, well, at least around Christmas time and everything, was the creation of the new shiny security messaging program called Wire. Immediately, it hit the scene. Wire. Everybody's like, oh no, we need to start using Wire, and nobody could tell me why, other than, oh, it's better, for messaging and stuff, and I didn't have a clue why. So I wanted to talk about that this week, find out what the big deal is. Anybody here use it?
Yeah, I wanted to install it and see at least what it was all about.
Okay, all right. So you've done a little bit of it. What makes it good?
So first I did it just because why not have another messaging system, right?
There you go.
I looked on my phone earlier, and I probably have around 10 of them.
Yeah.
And I figured, everybody's talking about it. Might as well see what the fuss is about. So I've had Wicker, WhatsApp, Signal, Facebook Messenger, Slack, all of the different things.
Mm-hmm.
This I like just because you don't have to have give out your phone number like you do for Signal.
Okay.
So that's a plus for me over Signal, just because not everybody has my phone number, but most people know my handle. So it's way easier to find somebody based on that as opposed to a phone number.
Okay.
And then I was looking more into there's not very much information out there so far. I mean, I know it's, I'm pretty sure it's open source. So I know there's a bunch of people trying to dig into it. But you can have it on multiple devices. So that was another reason that, I really liked it. You don't have to carry around a key fob or whatever to keep your private key on.
Yeah. See, I had set up Signal because when I was at DerbyCon, we were trying to wrangle all the podcasters in a room and stuff. And I had hit up Steve Reagan because I wanted him on the show. And he said, yeah, just send me a message on, just hit me up on Signal. And I'm like, oh, I'm not on Signal. And he kind of got real quiet, looked at me and goes, wow, you're a brave one, aren't you? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you should probably check that Signal out. So I did. I checked it out. So, yeah, one of the first things was, I had to put in my phone number, which I was a little weird about doing. 2, you actually have to know people who have Signal, which, I texted him a few times, and he got caught up into something, which is why he didn't make it on our DerbyCon show. But yeah, it's like I've used WhatsApp, I've used Signal. I haven't used, there's other ones like Wicker and Whisper, and even Facebook Messenger uses the WhatsApp. I think he uses a WhatsApp protocol.
Yeah.
My problem with it is there's so many of these, and none of them talk to one another.
Right.
Which is it's a huge issue, because you can't tell, Joe Average Guy to just use one or the other. Which is like what you said. You got 10 messaging apps on your phone. Chat Roulette and Snapchat and Uber Chat, What Up, and
I have a great Chat Roulette story.
Booty Call,
off the podcast.
Yeah. So I mean, I know Mr. Betcher doesn't use any of them. Do you, Mr. Betcher?
I don't use any messaging apps at all.
Yeah, and
you have to
just snail mail.
Just
call you or send you an email, like a physical.
He still uses old school Telegraph. Oh, Telegraph, that's another one too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Telegram.
Hey, you can't mad in the middle Telegraph, right?
Yeah.
I mean, physically.
True. You can tap the lines on, the Pony Express carrier or whatever. I don't know. He's in Texas, so, they got that technology, lack of it down there. So my problem is I can't tell my mother to go, okay, use Signal. And, you know, it takes her so long to adopt something anyway when she's not used to doing it. I have to explain to her. Go ahead.
So why would you want? All right. So I know I'm a security professional, whatever.
Yes.
But why, unless you are super secret and you have all of this, you know, super secret texts and stuff that you're talking, why else would you need it? So everything that I've ever talked to anybody on like a one-on-one DM,
yeah,
I can think of maybe 2 things that I would have cared if they were encrypted or not.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to try to use the argument of, well, I don't have anything to hide, because that's, you know, that's specious. You know, in some cases there are things you do need to hide, and you know, we were talking about perfect, you know, having perfect forward secrecy, and you know, not allowing, you know, a secure message now that you may send to somebody 10 years later being able to be decrypted,
right?
You know, but
I feel like it being able to be decrypted later on is important.
Yeah.
If you decide to go with encrypted chat or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to be able to have it decrypted if, you know.
Well, I'll give it a stab.
Okay.
Okay, there's a book called 3 Felonies a Day: How the Feds Target the Innocent. Basically, the gist of it is that we all commit 3 felonies a day, just living our lives.
Really?
But there's so many laws out there that you can't help but commit 3 felonies a day on average.
All right.
So, going to messaging, you're having a conversation with somebody, and your ISP or your carrier stores all that data.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They store all your messages. This gives somebody who has the money or the authority to grab all those messages and read them.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to nail you with something, as Brake was mentioning earlier, they'll get you for one thing and then another and then another, and then just tack on other crimes. If you're wanted for one thing, they could probably find something that you're talking about with someone who may or may not in the future commit crimes as well. So then you're associated with those people. Sure. Right. And it could be even just metadata, right? Yeah. So right. With Signal, you have that person's phone number, I guess, in the clear, all right? So you're talking with that person. You just don't know what could come up in the future. Yeah. When all your messages are stored.
Yeah. Well, I get that. And some things you're doing today may have a legal gray area that you're doing that may or may not be illegal. 10 years down the line may be supremely illegal and not have any kind of, you know, what do they call that? Where expiration date, you know. So let's say, I don't know, I just crossed the street against the light, and then jaywalking becomes like a Class A felony in 10 years. They could have messages on you going, I crossed the street, you know, 10 years ago, and they could put you in jail.
And your GPS location to prove it, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure that's stored somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, God forbid, Brake, you run for president someday. They could get all your messages, right, and post them up on, online.
Delete. Yeah, no, not completely. That, I mean, as we've seen with the last presidential election, you know, all kinds of tweets and messages and videos and stuff.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. It's all out there anyway. So, yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like, do we have that privacy anymore? I mean, between all the data breaches that we've had, government, military, veteran here, OPM breach wiped me out. I mean, China's got my fingerprints. I mean, they've got DNA of me from, you know, blood tests that I took while I was at boot camp, probably. You know, I mean, they could probably clone me. They probably have cloned me. There's probably another Breaking Down Security podcast in China that's been going on. But
they have a whole warehouse of you.
I cannot have privacy that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, I can carve out a fake identity, which, of course, by doing so could be illegal in the future. And as we've seen in some court cases recently, those can be used to uncover wrongdoing. But, I don't have any expectation of privacy anymore because I don't have any. So why use secure messaging? And I think Amanda, you said something before the show. You were talking about verifying the people,
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, my first, I never really enjoyed anything, any kind of cryptography or whatever. And my first kind of glimpse into it is because I was never big in math anyways.
Yeah.
My first glimpse into it was having to sign my emails with PGP and encrypt like a password list with it.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the ass because you have to verify the other person's key physically. Like you them and say, all right, well, what is it? Or you have to call them something. It's just a pain. Like with as many people as you talk to daily, and some of us it's, in the hundreds.
Yeah.
That's just basically impossible, especially if you plan on, recycling those.
Yeah.
At any point in time, because you have to start it all over again. It's just not that easy to do.
Yeah, I must have burned through about 8 different PGP keys. So there's some people out there who may have 8 PGP keys of me. They don't know if it's actually still a legit key or, what's available out there. And some of the messaging stuff is that way. When I was on Signal, I have a friend of mine, he just lives down the street, but, I found out he had Signal. He's like, oh yeah, just send me a Signal message. And then 2 months later, after he'd had a European trip, I guess he had to change his phone number or something, but I did so. It still had his name in the system, but when I tried to send it, it was like, hey, this guy's number has changed. Do you still trust him? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? It's like I didn't even bother to verify that. It's like the SSH keys when you're logging into a server for the first time. It's like, do you actually literally go to the IT admin who runs the server and go, is this the server key for this system?
Man, we should start doing that.
Do you know how annoying we would get? My IT people would kill me. They'd be like, okay, break.
Just chill.
Don't you don't have to do that. Nobody else does that but you. You're crazy. So, yeah, nobody ever verifies those server keys. They say yes and go on because they assume that they haven't been man in the middle. There's the assumption and the risk accepted that you haven't been man in the middle on your SSH connection and that everything's all copacetic. Same thing with Signal. I just started messaging that guy again. I don't know if it's him or somebody else.
Right. Yep.
It's the government.
It is the government. So, yeah. And I just, the other thing I've got with it's the interoperability. You can't a wire person can't talk to a person with WhatsApp or Wickr or Wire, or Whisper, or Telegram, or whatever the hell they've got. And there needs to be some kind of open protocol that they all support, which I asked the people from Wire, or at least somebody who was knowledgeable about it, and they're like, yeah, that's not on the roadmap. And I'm like, it kind of needs to be, because at this point it's like, I have Ubuntu Linux, you're using Slackware, I can't talk to you or do anything having to do with you because we don't have the same version of, Linux.
Right.
And that's stupid. I mean, there's enough open protocols out there or enough open, type of transports that you should be able to have some kind of interoperability between these security messaging systems. So, I mean, WhatsApp is used by Facebook Messenger. It seems to be fairly robust. They could all support WhatsApp, or at least the protocol behind it, or have a library for it. Import a library. It's not that difficult. And then everybody would be able to do OTR or whatever through the WhatsApp protocol at a minimum. At least have something at a minimum, and then it's like, oh, well, if you want to use Wire, we have all these extra little cool things over here on the side that you can do. They'll make it even more secure than just using WhatsApp. So, I don't know.
It'd be nice. Like I complained, and I see why some people wouldn't want to, but I complained that I would really like one messaging app. Like it will work with Twitter, it will work with Facebook, it will work with Google Hangouts. But I mean, I see why you would not want to do that as well, because that's kind of putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
But then again, I would not have to have 10 different apps installed. And when I have, 6 desktops going on, remembering what sound is from what app.
Yeah. Well, when I started using Windows 8, they had the social tab, which allowed you to put all your social media accounts basically into one application, and then they would show you
nice.
Very similarly in a threaded kind of format. I didn't use it obviously because it wigged me out, because I was like, I was being forced to use Windows 8 at the time, so I was like, let's not do Windows 8 so much. But that was the closest thing I've seen that actually worked fairly well. I do know that things like Slack does IRC kind of gateways, so you can do some integration with that if you wanted to.
That makes all the old school IRC people super happy.
I bet.
You ought to petition for California to pass a law that says that all messaging apps have to be compliant with each other.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they probably still use text messaging themselves, but I just recently uninstalled Signal because I don't really have any use for it. I mean,
I've talked to one person on Signal right now.
Really?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think we're suffering. Go ahead.
It appears that Wire, I've been reading the white paper, probably, from what I gather, stores all your metadata somewhere.
Oh.
So they can, generate crash reports and junk like that.
Well, yeah. See, there's a metadata issue, too, because even if the message is encrypted, you still have to have a source and a destination, which you have to have, it's like email. They're like, well, yeah, or phone logs or something. Okay, yeah, we don't have to listen to your calls, but we know you contacted a pharmacy, and
I wonder if they purge it after so long.
If they store it at all, it will only take a matter of time and a court order for them to start collecting it and not deleting it. Mm. The idea would be to be completely, we don't store anything anywhere ever. And I seem to remember there was somebody got a court order or law enforcement letter saying, we want the call logs from this, and all they got was a lot of like source and destination and phone number stuff or something like that. I have to find that link, but it basically went a long way to showing what they could and couldn't give to law enforcement.
Okay.
But yeah, if Wire's going to do it right, you don't want to have anything to do with storing anything anywhere. Which, if they are doing so, is already defeating the purpose of really
they need aggregated usage statistics. Come on.
I don't look. You don't need those kinds of metrics when you're doing messaging apps. Those are just not metrics you want to collect. So, yeah. So, I look forward to I think that's a new shiny thing too. I mean, the minute Wire came out, there are some heavyweights behind it. There's some fairly smart people who are working on that. So, if it works out,
the thing I really, really like about it is it has Giphy integrated.
Oh, great. Yeah, somebody already asked us on our Slack channel if we had Giphy integrated.
If you could install Giphy, I could probably communicate in just GIFs. Ugh. Like that's my top talent. It's on my resume and everything.
Look, if you join our Slack channel, you're expecting Giphy. Just move along because it's never going to happen.
Wait, you made me an admin.
I made you. Shortest admin stint ever for you. Shortest admin stint for you ever. Kills me. I was just like, the good thing is you can't turn that stuff off. But damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so if anybody out there uses the messaging protocols and they want to explain to us, come on the show, explain why Wire is the best ever one, what have you got to sell?
How do they make money?
I don't think they make money. I think they're doing it
out of the goodness of their heart.
Yes, out of the kindness of their hearts.
I want to say that I looked at the list of people who were on Wire's team, and there were several. There were several angels. There were several backers. Money.
Yeah, one was like the Skype. Oh, what was he?
He was like he created the Skype protocol or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So there's several people with big money on there who is obviously bankrolling the effort because, I'm sure Matthew Green and them don't work for free, even though I would imagine he's tenured. But yeah, that kind of stuff takes dev time and money to kick out. And of course, they've got marketing people. So yeah, they gotta pay the bills too. So, but yeah, it's a fairly well-known group of people. I don't have the link on here, but it'll be in our show notes by the time this goes to press. So, yeah. So, if there's something technologically that we've missed in the show about why the messaging system is better than anybody else, please let us know. We're on Slack and elsewhere. So does anybody else have anything else to talk about? I know, we were going to discuss ShmooCon since Amanda's going to be at ShmooCon. Thank you for all the ShmooCon organizers for giving you a ticket.
I know.
We said, hey, we kind of got a
pretty
here.
please.
We have a little show here. We do. It's a thing. And they saw fit to pity us and give us a ticket. So that was very nice of them. So Amanda will be at ShmooCon this week.
And I was going to go anyways, but I was just going to be in the bar the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
I'll still be in the bar the whole time, but now I'll have a ticket too.
Well, you might as well go and learn something,
Yeah.
Are they cool tickets? Are they like, Raz Pies?
Oh, so last year they were pretty cool. They were circuit boards that were die cut to look like bikes and like the little wheels spun.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was the process they used to die cut it or laser cut it or the board or whatever. It smelled so bad. Like it gave me a headache. It wasn't like I could. Ugh. I don't know what it was. Whatever the smell was, I don't know if it was the chemical on it. I don't know. It was really bad. And then mine ended up breaking anyways.
That's a shame.
Watch out for that cadmium.
Right.
Yeah, it'll give you superpowers.
Don't lick it.
Yeah.
So, I love the eggs.
The eggs. Oh my god. Yeah, this is going to be so much fun. I can tell this year is going to be fantastic. We've got so many ideas. Like I said last year, I think we were a little underprepared, and this year we've got I think we've got enough for a year's worth of topics already on here. So even if we don't get all of them done, then we'll still make it a thing. So, I think that was it for this week. So. Unless anybody else has anything to say, let's give out our where people can get a hold of us at. Starting with Miss Amanda.
I am on Signal, Wire, WhatsApp.
Killing me.
You can find me as InfoSister pretty much on every social media app ever.
Excellent. Okay. And Mr. Betcher, how about you?
bds.podcast@gmail.com.
All right.
Reach
and
me there.
You're at BetcherPwned on Twitter.
You got it.
BOETTCHERPWNED. Yep. So we have a Slack channel, as we mentioned earlier. If you want to join that, you can either hit us up on Twitter and say, hey, send me an invite, or you can go to breaksec.signup.team and just get an invite there. I turned off the bot because we had some issues where I was trying to verify everybody that came in, and we actually locked up our invite queue for a while because people were not getting them at the time that they were logging in. So I fixed that. We've got about 135, 140 people in there now, so that's pretty awesome. We talk about all kinds of stuff on there, and it's a fairly active group from all over the world. So if you're even a non-American, we have some folks from Australia. We have some folks from Finland. We have folks from England and the rest of Europe. We also do our CTF. We're going to be starting our CTF club probably around the 1st of February. And what that's going to be is we all get together on a hangout, much like me and Mr. Betcher and Miss Amanda are doing right now. And we'll go through a war game or a CTF that is available. Some people have mentioned the over-the-wire stuff. There was a Ring Zero team that was also mentioned. So we'll take those and we'll kind of walk through them together. We're going to have mentors, hopefully, that do CTFs or do pen testing, who can help walk some of the less advanced people through. So if even if you aren't an advanced person with CTFs, feel free to join us, because there's going to be stuff that even I don't know that I'll have to be walked through. Our book club's going. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was to say, I had some super simple training I was talking to somebody about the other day. We were talking about like CTF fundamentals, and one was like going over wire captures, like packet captures, and then things like DNS commands.
Oh, very cool. Yep. So the other thing we do is the book club. We actually get on a hangout together. Miss Amanda and Mr. Betcher have been very super busy and have not been able to join us yet. But what we're doing is we're taking a book, in this case, Software Security, Building Security In by Gary McGraw. And we're going through chapters. So last week, actually January 4th of this year, we went through chapter 7 on risk-based security testing, and that was quite interesting. We talked about creating proper vulnerability reports. We talked about the various things in that chapter, and we also kind of went outside of it to talk about experiences we've had with software testing. We're planning on finishing this book up in the next month or so we're looking for ideas for other books. Either it be Miss Amanda's new book from O'Reilly with Mr. Lee Brotherston, Defensive Security Handbook.
Yay!
We've thought about doing the practical packet analysis with Chris Sanders. He's expressed an interest in even coming on the show and discussing packet analysis with us, so we're trying to lock that down. His third edition of that book is actually on order on No Starch, which you can go get, which I'm sure he'll love the plug. So, go and get that. It's a good book. I got the second edition book. It's just a fantastic resource. So, we're on Slack. Please feel free to join us on there. Really, really good times. We're on Twitter, @Breaksec, BRAKESEC. You can follow me personally, @BrianBrake, BRYANBRAKE. And we're on a lot of different social media outlets. We don't always update them, but so we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we have a Tumblr. We're on SoundCloud and YouTube. We have a YouTube channel that just has the videos and stuff. Mr. Betcher's going to start doing his malware stuff, hopefully in the near future. So there should be some videos on there about malware detection and how to do so. Probably heavily influenced with LogMD, but that's a nice free program if you want to check that out too. IMF Security, right?
You got it.
Right on. IMFsecurity.com. Yes, IMFsecurity.com. All right. Well, 2017 is going to be awesome. I'm not there yet. I almost said 2016. 2017, I think, is going to be awesome. So a lot to learn, a lot to do, and I hope everybody, if you've joined us from other podcasts, welcome aboard and hang on. It's going to be a fun ride. So that was it for this week on Breaking Down Security. Have a great week. And Miss Amanda, Mr. Betcher, I will talk to you all again real soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.